Welcome back to our discussion of the International Criminal Court, which was founded in The Hague in 2003. My guest is its first prosecutor, Luis Moreno-Ocampo, who's in the charge of investigating and prosecuting war crimes, genocide and crimes against humanity. Just before the break, we heard Dr. Bona Malwal, the special advisor to President al-Bashir of Sudan, responding to the request for an indictment from the ICC on these charges of genocide and war crimes and so on. Now, his response, of course, concocted charges. Darfur was a civil conflict. How can it be the responsibility of one man? Are you going to leave the country leaderless by inviting him? What's your response to that?
First, it's true there is a rebellion in Darfur, and the problem is not that any government has the right to control the territory, but they cannot attack the civilian. They have to control the rebels, and the policy was target the civilians. Ahmed Harun explained. He said to the National Commission of Inquiry, the rebels are like the fish in the water. To control the rebels, we'll remove the fish, the water. So to control the fish, we'll remove the water. And they attack the civilians. They, for instance, one of my witnesses say, they came to my town, they attacked all of us, they came to my house, they steal everything, and they raped my daughter, 8-year-old daughter. But they forced me to watch when they raped my daughter. So this is not control a rebellion. This is like the civilians. And in this way, they removed 2.5 million people. So it was a 2 years military operation. That's why I am sure Mr. Bashir ordered. In fact, he said publicly, he does not like prisoner or wounded. He wants scorched earth. And they did it. And then they removed them from the land, and now they're attacking in the village, in the camps. In addition to that, we are also prosecuting rebels. I'm very close to present a case against some rebels, commanders, who attack African Union peacekeepers. So we are trying to control violence. We are saying you have to respect this line. Whatever discussion you have, do it, but you cannot commit these type of crimes.
Let me ask you about the role of French President Nicolas Sarkozy, who's offered to suspend your indictment for a year if President al-Bashir makes a gesture of cooperation with the international community. Now, he said if the Sudanese authorities do totally change their policy, then France would not be opposed to using, I believe it is Article 16. Now, Article 16 is the UN Security Council to suspend the indictment. Is that undermining your work?
I have a judicial mandate. I have to investigate crimes and prove it for the judges. I believe the evidence we unveil are useful to understand the connection between humanitarian assistance and security. Because if Harun is himself organizing the attack to the camps, so will never be enough humanitarian assistance if Harun is in charge. Will never be enough security. So whatever peacekeepers you send will not be enough. It's like keep the arsonist in charge. You will have not enough firefighters. So what I think is important to understand, the fact we unveil had to be contemplated to look for solutions. If not, you will have problems. But I have nothing to do with political solutions, so it's not my responsibility. I have no comment on this.
No, I'm just thinking of how it might affect the way you do your job and the frustrations you might face if you face that kind of political opposition. The US, for example, has a good relationship with Sudan, certainly in its cooperation with the intelligence agencies on its so-called war on terror. I mean, do you think that Washington is going to allow its relationship to be jeopardized by the ICC or somehow intervene that, again, complicates your job?
What is at stake is how the world will manage a genocide. We say never again. It's really never again. This time is the first time in an ongoing genocide, a court could decide that someone, like President al-Bashir, is responsible. What will happen? Because it's not just the people in Darfur at stake, it's the future of the world, how the world will manage this type of violence. Because can we allow this because someone has enough power to escape or not? That is a challenge.
One of the difficulties is justice and the rules of justice are often very clear-cut, but the application or the results and the consequences can be complicated. And I wonder if by pursuing the president, you're making it worse for chances of there being some kind of resolution to the Darfur conflict, where the rebels might end up becoming more hardline and the government become more reclusive.
In the last 5 years, things are worse and worse. I don't think that without our intervention was something good. So I'm not sure what will happen, but I received a mandate, and I am telling the truth, and I'm showing the facts. And the judge, I request the judge's decisions. That's what I have to do.
5 years ago, the ICC was born amid a lot of controversy, and many states, and I mean predominantly, of course, America, refusing to sign up for it. how do you achieve validity when you have the remaining superpower not involved?
When I took office, I was teaching at Harvard. And one of my colleagues told me, look, Luis, it's a great honor, but you have to refuse it. I said, why? How can I refuse be prosecutor? I like it. Said, no, because you will be 9 years in the Hague doing nothing. Because how you can investigate the case if the U.S. is not supporting you? How you can put someone in jail? In the other side, there were fear that I started frivolous cases. So my decision was according with the law, I choose the worst cases I could. In my jurisdiction, Congo was the gravest situation. I start with them. Then I follow with Northern Uganda. Then Darfur, Central African Republic, the next. Today, after 5 years activities, I have a open investigation in 4 situations. I have 12 arrest warrants issued. I have 4 prisoners in The Hague, 3 trials starting. So we put the court in motion.
A quick question by email from S. Anoma in Sydney, Australia. If Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir is indicted, would this open up a case against George W. Bush for war crimes against the people of Iraq? By going to war against Iraq based on unsubstantiated allegations, the US has committed genocide and crimes against humanity and war crimes.
Could be, but the problem is I have no jurisdiction in Iraq. So, I have no jurisdiction because Iraq is not a party or US is not a party. So it's the beginning of a new idea. We are moving. When I started, we were 70 countries. Today, we're 108. So we are moving. We are growing.
And you see it in the right direction. Yeah.
Who could be against controlled genocide? I think it's a good idea, controlled genocide.
So it was really a pleasure talking with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you for being with us. Don't forget, if you have any comments on the show or if there's someone you'd like to see on, send us your emails to riz@aljazeera.net. From me and the team, we'll see you next time.